Hello and welcome to another episode of Dumb Down Tech. Today I wanted to upgrade my bedroom PC. I'm bored of glass. I'm bored of nowhere. So, mesh. Lots and lots of mesh. Let's review this case. So I have had a quick look at this case, so I didn't look totally stupid. I had a quick open up, worked out how to do it, so let's go through that together. To open, we've got two screws here at the back, thumb screws luckily, but unfortunately they're not captive. To open it, what you do, get the top, push it backwards, and you can lift up. Now the top of the case has got some filters, but they're not easily removable, and if you do remove them, they're going to be even worse to put back. I didn't even bother attempting to do it. I took a little corner, decided it wasn't worth it for me. Cleaning wise, it's quite thin, so you can either hoover it, possibly even put it under a tap and give it a wash. Not attached to anything, so it will dry nicely. Just don't put it straight back on top while it's still wet, obviously. Then, to get into the main gubbins of the machine, we will take two screws out of the top here. And we will lift up. Away it comes. There are no filters at all on this case. On the side panel, sorry. But it's not particularly open. It's also not particularly free-flowing, but it's better than glass. And it's very light, actually. In fact, the whole case is very light. I might do a before and after comparison, actually. Weigh the old case, weigh the new case, while both empty and while both full. Gives me an idea of how much the glass actually affects the PC case. So inside, we've obviously got our cables. Now, the power supply, I'm not sure how much you're going to see here. I will do some more bits so you can see inside it a little bit better. But the power supply is mounted here at the front. I quite like that idea. It's one way to make the case still be thin, be a full ATX case in a normal MATX case size. Yeah, I quite like that. And the mesh here at the front and at the back here is the same as the side panel here. We get our connections. Now, this one I found a little bit cheeky. Our USB-C and our USB-3 are on one cable. To me, the way my motherboard is, it only has one USB 2 and no USB-C, and only one USB 3 connector. So that's okay for me because my USB port on the motherboard is used by my Wi-Fi card. So we've also got our HD audio standard. And I'm not going to lie, I was hoping that our little mini connections here were one of the new modern all-in-one plug and play, because this is my bane of building PCs. This is what always gets me. They're not particularly chubby hands, but they're too chubby for this. And then obviously we've got our plug extension for the power supply. We've also got an elastic band. Then we get a bag of goodies. What do we get? We get some little, it appears to be a screw. Don't you know what that is? Anyway, we've got some standoffs, we've got some screws for the hard drives, and we've got some power supply screws in there. We've got some grommets for putting on your SSDs or your hard drives. Some cable ties, which is always nice to see. And we've even got a nice little Velcro strap. So that's quite nice. There we go. So then, having a quick look, we've got space for 3 SSDs. So we've got space for 1 SSD or hard drive here, space for another one here, and then in here we've got a space for 1 more to go. Then what we shall do is have a look at the back. From a quick look earlier, I didn't see there being much room for cable management, but to me personally, I'm not really a cable management person. I hate it. I like it to look neat. I haven't got the patience for it myself. Same thing with the back, exactly the same. Not sure how much you can see. Again, I'll do the other bits, but there's not much space here. But what I do like are the cutouts. So we've got quite a big gap here at the top, quite another one here. These gaps here are quite nice as well to reach around to the motherboard. With it being an ATX motherboard that I'm putting in here, I will have plenty of space at the bottom, and there's luckily plenty of space up here for an AIO and for some fans on it. My previous case, I had to run the AIO at the front of the case because if I tried running it at the top, there was going to be no fans on it. So that should make it fairly easy to build in. This part that was causing me so much confusion, yeah, it's a screw, base for the standoffs. Helps take the standoffs out. We call dumb down tech for a reason. Sometimes they're a little bit slow, unfortunately. Anyway, into the case. Here's our space at the bottom of the case for our 3 120mm fans. It is dusty. It came that way, unfortunately. We have our 120mm rear fan there. But here's the part that's baffled me. For some reason, the power supply needs to be rotated this way. Please bear with the dust. That one on the other end is actually a old power supply. But why is it facing that way when we've got a mesh front? I'm just not 100% sure with it, but I'm sure we'll do some testing on it and see what we can do. If we need to attempt to change it around, I'm sure we can do that, but I'm sure we'll be able to be all right. There is the back of our front I/O. As you see, everything is reasonable to cable manage. So as you see here from the back of the case, you can see our openings, quite a decent size. The cable management is there for the included extension for the plug. Back of the motherboard tray is open, so making any bracket changes or anything should be nice and simple. There is our space for our 3rd and final SSD or 2.5 hard drive. As you see, we've got a few cable management holes here, there, and everywhere. One large port to try and get your cables through and see what you can do. The gap here, is not much. You're not getting to have much cable management space there, unfortunately. A few more cable management runs. And that's it, unfortunately. There isn't much space. Right, at the back here, we've got space for a 120mm fan. We also have each individual bracket here to cover is all screwed in individually, so none of them break off ones. I hate them break off ones. I've got a habit of not realising and not really paying attention and just going, yeah, it's got to be that one, and then I'm left with a gap. So I had to go and buy all the bits to put into it to cover them holes. So at the top here, we've got space for a 240 AIO or 2 120mm fans. I will be using that, making the most of the AIO and the fans. At the bottom, we have space for 3 120mm fans. So that's 6 fans in total, because there's no mounting at the front for any fans. But with it being mesh, that's absolutely fine as far as I can think of, to be honest with you. The GPU size looks to be, you can fit pretty much anything apart from, I don't know, 4090, not going in there. Or them big boy graphics cards. With some wiggle room, possibly. I have to actually look at the measurements and work out for myself. I'm actually quite looking forward to putting a build in this. I just wanted to make something different, make it a little bit stealthy. I didn't want no lights. I didn't want nothing flashy about it. I just wanted it to sit in the corner in the bedroom, out of the way. And with the old case, I was getting to the point of having to take the front off of it to give it some airflow. And the wife likes to walk quite close to it with the exposed fans. It was never going to end well if it carried on that way. Other than that, without making an actual video on the build, the only thing I can think of is doing a second review on this once I've eventually got around to doing the build, when I'm not working and I've got time to do that, and changing it over, and doing a before and after thermal test, seeing if the mesh actually works, if it doesn't work, if it looks any nicer. I quite like the look of the case, to be honest with you. I think that's not good. We need to knock that. Yeah, let's not let that fall. Sorry, one last thing. Also, at the bottom of the case, obviously with 3 120mm fans, lots and lots of venting and intake. The feet aren't the tallest. Definitely don't put it on carpet. But other than that, yeah, from first appearances, I'm quite impressed with this. I guess we'll have to see at a later date if it actually makes any sense, or if mesh is just bad for needing to clean your PC out on a regular basis. I am quite excited for this one. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you all again for the next video. Hopefully it'll be with this populated with all the items needed, and we can go and see and do a little review on the thermals and overall happiness of the build. The build should be fairly easy in this. It's quite open. It's the cable management, as I said. I'm not going to enjoy that. But to be fair, actually, with it being a mesh black case, you're not going to see inside of it. So as long as I've got no cables all in the fans and chopping things up, we should be good to go. Anyway, see you for the next one.